Lakers played the Celtics last night and lost, but the main storyline from that game is LeBron going down with a groin injury for the second time in his Lakers tenure. Tar, what are your thoughts on the Lakers going forward? If they're going to be missing LeBron for the next couple weeks, are they going to stay afloat? Or?
I think that this is what Luka needs. I don't think LeBron is holding him back at all, right? I think that it's more of a mental thing. And if Luka's in the position where it's like, okay, I have this other star gone, now it really is just me, that he's going to step up and it's going to give him the confidence that he needs to really do what he needs to do and fully take over the team like, I feel like the plan is,
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I mean, we've argued about whether or not LeBron's capable of sharing the floor with another superstar, and this is maybe the best young talent he's been around in some serious time. So I think Luka has the ability to really solidify himself as the main thing in LA, the one-man show, at least until LeBron comes back, and then maybe LeBron kind of takes that role player, sideline seat. So this is what we've been waiting for, to see, how conditioned, how disciplined, how excellent Luka can be once he gets away from that kind of toxic Dallas culture. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope he excels.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think this is what we've been waiting for, right? Like, the Luka from Dallas where he's putting up 40, 12, and 12 every night and just everybody get on my back. I'm going to take you to the promised land. Like, that's the kind of Luka we saw in Dallas. He's been really solid in LA, but we haven't seen that version. And I think this is the chance for him to come out and him to keep the Lakers afloat, keep him at the 2 seed. The Lakers and Nuggets are really, going back and forth for that 2 and 3 spot right now. Depending on how the plan goes, it'll be interesting to see, what the first round matchups look like. But I think, by the end of the month when LeBron comes back, I think, like you said, I think he will take the number 2 role from Luka, and Luka's going to take the spot as the, leader of the team. Any thoughts on how dominant Boston looked in that win? I know Jason Tatum put up like 40, and obviously LeBron went out, but Luka just couldn't do enough to, steal it from him. I heard the Lakers had a third quarter comeback, but just weren't able to seal it in the end. Any thoughts on Boston and how they look this year? Are they, the favorites in your eyes to repeat?
I mean, last year Boston was looking like the Eagles of the NBA.
It's a great team,
as close to a super team as you can get. Everybody's capable of filling their role, and even against a team like LA, who's really turned around their year. Obviously, they acquired Luka and jumped to the 2 seed. There's only so much that 2 guys can do, and I mean they still have Dalton Connect, but his faith is kind of shaken in the team. And Austin Reeves is talented but inconsistent. For them to lose their most consistent scorer in LeBron, who's putting up 23 a game at 40 years old, obviously, yeah, it's hard to play at 40. He's not always going to be there. Who do you have in a tough spot? You have Luka. Luka doesn't play great defense. So, we saw him in that final series against Boston last year, and it didn't go the way most of America wanted it to go, which was against the super team, Spoiler alert, like the super team's going to win 95% of the time. So if Boston's able to get back to the same form that they were in the last playoff series, in the finals, I think they're going to be really scary. I don't think there's a team other than maybe OKC that can take them down.
I will say I forgot to mention previously, I think the biggest thing that the Lakers are actually going to miss from LeBron going out, you mentioned his consistent scoring. He's at 40 years old, he's probably the best defender on the team now, with AD being gone. They've been, at the top of the league relatively in defense despite AD being gone, and with that weird roster construction they have going on. LeBron's been playing his tail off defensively, and I think that that's really going to show when they don't have him these next couple weeks. Do you think, even when he comes back, do you see the Lakers' defense being a problem? I know that that's been speculated, when the trade first happened. Do you see the Lakers' defense in the playoffs being a problem?
For sure. Think about it this way. So I kind of want to wrap it back to Boston. They have Jason Tatum, Brown, and then KP. You know what I mean? It's a tall team. And it's not like I think I've talked to you about the Warriors at one point. They had like the shortest team in the league when they won.
For a while.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, they have a way where they can spread the floor to where they don't need those big men. The Lakers don't have that. They have shooters, but they're not consistent shooters that can play off the ball like, Steph can. You know what I mean? So if they don't have those big men in the playoffs, they aren't going to make it very far because they're going to be playing teams like Boston that have 3 big men, one of which being Jason Tatum, Brown, and then also Kristaps Porzingis, who is healthy. And a healthy Kristaps is crazy. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think, that just speaks to how good of a shooter Steph is. I mean, he's able to really make that offense work. The Lakers, everybody on the team is capable of shooting pretty much, but on any given night, nobody can shoot. Specifically the Boston game, nobody was able to hit anything. Austin Reeves had a bad game. You didn't have the scoring from LeBron because he went out. Gabe Vincent didn't look good. He's a very inconsistent player, so it really depends on, is this a Gabe Vincent night? Is this a Dorian Finney-Smith night? Who's going to step up and take the consistent shooting role tonight? If nobody's able to do that, 4 times in a series, then they'll be first or second round exits. But if somebody's able to take that role and they're healthy enough rolling in, I think despite the defense, they could make a conference finals and maybe even the finals because, the Thunder have looked amazing all year, but they're young. And we see time and time again these young teams that are promising. They have a young superstar, CJ Stroud from the Texans, Jaden Daniel with the Commanders, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell with the Cavs, whoever it may be, John Morant. These young stars leading teams tend to fizzle out in the big moments. I mean, you could go down a big list of names, but I don't know if I believe that the Thunder are going to be the ones making it out of the West. I think that they're probably like the 3rd or 4th team I'd pick with, Jokic and Denver's experience. I'd probably take them over the Thunder at this point. I think Boston's a pretty easy pick out East, but do you guys, see any team coming out of either side that maybe is, unexpected?
Not really unexpected. I don't think the Lakers have it over the Thunder. I think it goes Denver and then the Thunder for sure. It's like, yes, they're young, but it's chemistry. Chemistry, I feel that it's in the playoffs it's a mental, but if you have such a close team where they have such great chemistry with each other, I think that they'd be able to bring themselves out of it. You know what I mean? And
I will say your point, Denver specifically, but OKC too, have had the same nucleus of guys for the last few years, and Denver won a championship already with those guys. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, etc. So I agree with your point there, but go ahead.
So, they've been in the playoffs, and Shea's playing out of his mind, and he just has. It's not even like role players, you know what I mean? It's like you look at them and you think they're role players, but they're just amazing role players. They don't even feel like role players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you have such a well-designed team. It's hard for me to think that even with them having less experience that they aren't top 2.
My pushback to your point about the Thunder being above the Lakers mainly is Shea's play style. He's probably going to win MVP this year because of his regular season numbers, but his play style is very similar to Harden and Embiid, which is predicated on the whistle. And we know in the playoffs that the refs kind of like to swallow the whistle and not really call as much. Do you think that that's going to pose a problem for Shea? He had a good playoff run last year, but do you think that that's going to, hold him back?
I actually am going to shut you down right there. Shea is not a Harden. He does not rely on the whistle to score. Harden fakes it. He does things that he knows that people are going to do it and he sells it, right? Whenever Shea gets fouled, he's getting fouled. He drives to the hole. He hits those shots. He is a mid-range and, in the paint scorer. You know what I mean? So he's going to the line because people are fouling him. You know what I mean? And he would be making points regardless if he went to the line or not.
I don't disagree with you. I think he's a very crafty scorer, and I think he could put up 40, 50 points naturally without any calls. I think he's a great scorer in this league. But I will say, as far as just the numbers go, he's one of the top guys when it comes to getting the whistle, getting the calls.